we have a slim chance of finding ourselves a mace to start with. Or, if we wind up having corruption, we could skip several steps ahead by finding bombs and a bit of gear and getting very, very lucky with shadow orb drops in order to get the Balo hurt. That is, if we have the corruption, which knowing our luck is a fat fucking chance. Having this said, we 360 no-scope some housing for the future NPCs to move into, hoping that everyone is able to move in quickly so we can experience juicy game progression at speeds that are unhealthy and jarring for our mortal flesh. We run a tad bit to the left to see there's some cactus armor sitting for the taking, however it's still in plant form, so we get to chopping immediately. One of our first foes, a vulture, tries to pick our brains, not just with words, but instead his goddamn toes in his mouth, but fails like the dumb no-brain cell having dingle-dongle he is. His cousin, however, held more than one single brain cell and somehow managed to sick his dogs on me in a way that was detrimental for my physical well-being. Having this said, we make some cactus armor and head out with a head full of steam in order to go explore. We make some cactus armor and begin carving down into the earth where there aren't zombies that could pull my spine out and beat me to death with it. We open a chest full of shell-shock war flashbacks to our Boomerangs Only video, run to the right for literally 2 seconds and get publicly degraded by a swarm of eaters. We are not pleased with this public degradation, not one bit, but we are quite pleased that it was an eater publicly degrading us and not a face monster, because this means we can get our hands on the old Bala Hurt, which, as its name suggests, seeks straight for our enemies' nutsacks. Wherever some enemies' fat nards are, the Ball of Hurt, aka the Vasectomizer, will
do you have Warzone?
To the left instead to potentially
on your PC?
In order to get our hands on that vasectomizer and weaponize it, within about 5 seconds we find ourselves in the jungle and are promptly sent to an appointment with Dr. Bones, who Dr. Bones does in a way that would certainly get me demonetized if I were to go into great detail on. We go down
download that, but let's play.
Fucking beach loot. Perfect. That is exactly what we needed in this Whales Only run. A breathing read and the capability to make...
I'm just him, bro. I know everything. Stop playing with me.
Holding for deployment. Take this time to warm up.
Bro, you said 10:30, bro. Chill. You got time. Or 11:30. I don't know what time it is, bro. Forgot.
Hostiles dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Bet.
Warm-up is over. Stand by for deployment to the war zone.
Yeah, there she boo.
Not strong. This guy's so strong.
What do you mean? Is he a red mage or a green mage? Dude, he's like a beast. He's got more legendary creature cards than I've ever seen. McNuggets is scared. He doesn't want to play. McNuggets is scared, dude. Can you stack his deck with more mana? Can you stack McNuggets' deck with more mana?
He didn't stand a chance. Not one spell cast before is obliterated by health drains.
Oh shit.
That thing isn't human.
Enemy dropping into the AO. Eliminate all targets in the AO. Enemy here.
3 armor. Oh, great.
Enemy UAV active.
Moving to my mark. Moving here.
Hostile UAV in the area. Recon signal lost.
Losing ground. Positive ID on multiple strongholds. Locations are marked on your attack map.
Oh my Christ.
This is the Gulag. In here, you fight to win back your life.
Champions Club, look at the facility. Stop looking at my arm. Come on, guys. Alright, go ahead and take a look. Try it, can't see much. This will pound Tyler 1 right to the ground. If he's not, well, he's already pretty much at the ground. Guy's like 4'11". Champions Club, look at the facility. Stop looking at my arm. Come on, guys. Alright, go ahead and take a look. Try it, can't see much. This will pound Tyler 1 right to the ground. If he's not, well, he's already pretty much at the ground. Guy's like 4'11".
What a bitch! No!
Stop looking at my arm!
We're sending you back to base. Hit us hard that time, so we will settle the score.
Can I get a kiss? Nope. You're fucking being me too.
Bust it, bust it.
Not only is Yuji about to become enlightened, he's ready to become top 3 sorcerers. He got blasted through multiple buildings and has a whole hole in his chest. He's gonna go through the same process Gojo did when he was on the verge of death, and he understood not only his chest technique, but raw, cursed energy. And he's experienced Black Flash, infamous amount of times, to where his understanding of raw, cursed energy is drastically different than others. In 2 to 3 chapters, Yuji's going to appear in front of Sukuna, but Sukuna's not going to know it's Yuji because he's never felt this type of cursed energy, because it's going to be continuous Black Flash engulfing in on itself. Then Yuji's going to say this cold-ass line, which is, Megumi, I'm sorry, but I now understand what Sukuna and Gojo Senpai felt at this moment. Which is the only shit that's ever applied to them two, which is throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one. Yuji's gonna hit the same exact pose, but instead of this being flames, it's going to be pure Black Flash with his other fist having divergent fists in it. Is that not gonna be cold as fuck? Not only is Yuji about to...
Yuji Itadori is the most powerful character in fiction. Now, I know a lot of you guys must be thinking, that's impossible, the verse isn't that strong, how can that be the case? Trust me, he beats anybody. The reason is because he has the most broken hacks out of anybody that has ever been created, and I'm going to go through why. So during Yuji's fight with Aoi Todo, he was at a disadvantage and he was getting beat up pretty bad. But when it actually came down to it and Todo was really getting the upper hand, Todo then had fake memories planted inside of his brain, and he thought that he was Yuji's brother or his best friend. Now, there are minor spoilers from here on out. If you don't want any spoilers, I would recommend clicking
Not only is Yuji about to become enlightened, he's ready to become top 3 sorcerers. He got blasted through multiple buildings and has a whole hole in his chest. He's gonna go through the same process Gojo did when he was on the verge of death, and
Big sandcastles, perfect. We make ourselves a tin helmet to feel slightly more secure about our looks, then go mining even more. With a goddamn thank the high fucking heavens, we have the ability to go get an awesome weapon now to truly start this playthrough. We buy some bombs and immediately swing to the right where we find the actual most conveniently placed tunnel to the underground corruption of all time. We quickly barricade ourselves in to hide from the eaters who have no idea we have the capability of wielding the vasectomizer, and bomb out the first shadow orb, which gives us a musket. No problem, no problem. We knew the strap was coming first. Where the concern truly begins to arise is when we get a Vile Thorn on our second orb bursting session. And while this weapon can probably give any enemy in this game an immediate urinary tract infection upon being hit with it, it is of no use to us in this playthrough. We have no choice but to, and I quote, raw dog it to the last orb in hopes that we get our beautiful weapon. As the bomb blows up the final orb, I see a band of star power drop, then have quite literally 1 second to fear for my fucking life before we inevitably get... God damn it! We see the shining silhouette of a vasectomizer fall gracefully into our inventory. This, right here, this will allow us to start slapping the balls around in order to collect some ores and potentially yummy accessories to prepare for the boss battles to come. We begin to stack up on loads of ores, then begin to... Excellent! Directly after that, we obtain a magic mirror, which sends me back. I don't like pornographic comparisons very much. Fucking got him. Epic gamer style. Another thing that is quite epic about this dub is the fact that we now have access to the dungeon, meaning we could potentially get a new has a poster of a Lamborghini and another poster of a semi-nude woman on the wall to show what they like, I guess. Having this said, we begin the panty raid and start busting open chests. We find ourselves a Dark Lance, magnet, Dark Lance, flame lance, magnet, Dark Lance, a beautiful fucking Sun Fury. And just to wrap things up, since we've almost successfully looted the entirety of hell to get our Sun Fury, magged it again, perfect. Thank the high heavens that this is over with. If I see another shadow chest without playthrough-specific loot in it, I am going to throw up on my keyboard and never clean it off. I'll just keep playing through the SOG. We quickly reforge our Sun Fury and grab our items to take on none other than the great Queen P herself. We waste no time in finding a hive and clearing out a rather fucking gargantuan arena to take on the stinger-wielding, insect mandible-possessing, infinite tiny beat-producing abomination. We swiftly add some quick fixes to our arena that summon her up immediately. While we don't necessarily have to defeat Queen P to really advance this playthrough, as she drops nothing indispensable for us, it is still a means to an end. So we slap the perkiness right out of this bee's thorax with the force of one demonic Sun Fury that has a thing for harming insects. The Sun Fury goes to absolute fucking town on the Queen P, partially because the Sun Fury has no ears or eyes and cannot hear or see the Queen P attempting to sell Gamer B urine to all of her hive that serve as her stream servants. We do not have the same gift as the Sun Fury. We have to see and hear all of this, so we add that to the list of things to freak out and break something over at therapy in the future, and keep on flailing her health down. We dodge and use our Shield of Cthulhu, spin the ever-loving fuck out of our flail until eventually, with one giblet of luck, we manage to squeak out yet another Fortnite victory royale. This leaves us with one boss left in free hard mode, which, as you all may know by now, will either go phenomenally enough to fix my marriage or bad enough to where I can no longer maintain an erection for the rest of my existence. With this being said, we stock up on potions, do a bit of reforging, make an unreasonably large arena in hell for the Wall of Flesh, simply to compensate for our own size and stature. We run way over to the end, and seeing no other way to prepare for this battle, we immediately chuck the voodoo doll into the fiery pits of hell to summon up the Wall of Flush. That's right, he's a toilet now because I am simply hoping he eats shit as most toilets do and dies on the first attempt. All is going extremely well during this battle so far. We're able to maintain a healthy distance from the wall despite the fact that we're melee users, which is a large perk. We also do a very high amount of damage to the hungry and try our best not to get touched by them, as I really don't feel like having to censor this portion of the video. Everyone knows exactly what happens when these things get a hold of you, and we will be taking no part in it whatsoever. As we chip away at his health, he begins speeding up to a speed that should quite literally be a war crime, as the sound barrier is shattering 10 million times a second because this fat piece of shit doesn't know how to slow his goddamn roll. Relax, relax, relax! I am in disbelief that we have made it this far, but the final stretch is really what counts. With our health slowly deteriorating and our ass cheeks clenched hard enough to compress a phone book into a single flat page, a clutch occurs that tacked off yet another 2 years off my mandatory future therapy sessions, and we pull through what appears to be a first try dub against a Wall of Flesh. Holy fucking shit. What do we do with this power? Everything is going far too goddamn good in this run right now, and I live under crippling anxiety as to when my entire world is going to be flipped upside down and beaten to death with crowbars. With no time to waste worrying about the future, we instead worry about the short term and plan for nothing. Break a bunch of demon altars and enter what appears to be Wraith Hell. Holy fuck! We get palladium, orichalcum, and titanium, emphasizing the tight in titanium. Why? Because titanium is tight as fuck, and we never get it. Titanium. Tight. Tight, tight, tight. We immediately go on yet another mowing session in order to collect all the yum-yums, starting with palladium, then to orichalcum, and lastly to titanium. We spend a lot of time collecting titanium scattered all over our world and probably over the top in order to make a full set of titanium armor. Trip or fucking drown. God damn it, we're tripping beyond milk. Back to our trip, we grab some pixies by the waist and stuff them into a meat grinder to get pixie dust in order to make gas station boner pills that give
He's off like a bitch. Fuck it. Oh my god.
Also dry out the already nearly extinct population of wyverns in order to make ourselves quite literally the manliest fucking set of wings anyone has ever laid eyes on. That's right, we make some motherfucking fairy wings to add to our ultimate gamer swag collection. And boy, does it feel good to have some wings. Sick ass armor? Check. Manliest goddamn set of wings ever? Check. How about a sick ass weapon to clap thigh cheek at the thigh enemy with? We begin building an artificial infected desert biome above our normal desert in order to have biome specific mummies spawn, so we can get the light and dark shards depending on how we're theming out our desert at the time. All in order to obtain the Tao of Pow. Our weapon of choice requires a small bit of grinding, and goddammit, my middle fucking name is Nose McGrindstone. So we pace back and forth, killing hollow variant mummies first, and shortly after killing corruption variant mummies. It certainly takes a fair bit of time, but with some luck and some soul grinding in the cavern to get both types of souls, we now have all of the components that we need to make this new, streamlined, efficient, sleek, and sexy new player. We grab that shit up immediately before they go on to the forge of the other weapons to the dismay of our wallets. I hate you, Goblin Tinkerer. I hate you, and I have ill intent towards you in any future endeavors you may hold. So, weapons, armor, wings, check. But how about accessories. What a perfect way to conclude a ridiculous amount of grinding with more grinding. We go on mythic hunting duty, which is a fucking nightmare beyond belief because I hollowed out a tremendous area for it, but nonetheless, battle as many as we can find, gather all the components we need for a charm of mist, a star veil, and a power glove. Now we are properly stacked with a badass weapon, some saucy ass armor, wings that grip, and accessories that we could use as a replacement for the empty void we call a personality on ourselves. We quickly add a few layers onto our Eye of Cthulhu arena in order to turn it into a mechanical boss arena. Without skipping a goddamn beat, we wait until nighttime and
what the fuck is so
was conveniently spawned at the same exact time as a blood moon. Perfect. On the bright side, however, our weapon is absolutely fucking shredding this chump. He didn't even stand a chance to begin with. We deal with this pestilence of probes while being positively on our A game with dodging his head, which other than being overwhelmed by the probes is the only real way you can get clobber knocked beyond measure in this battle. We have a few close calls here and there, but above all else, our Dow Pal lays the WWE Super Summer Slam Smackdown on the Destroyer's bitch ass, which is just phenomenal as we now have access to asphalt, which we quickly begin making a long platform out of in order to fight the other mechs. But we also have access to hollowed bars. Unfortunately, however, we do not have enough hollowed bars. We are simply not hollow enough on the inside, must obtain the full armor set, so we get the delicious set bonus of not being able to feel happiness, sadness, anger, fear, annoyance, or the feeling of great dread we get when we remember that people wore outfits covered in emojis. I would gladly sacrifice my ability to feel happiness if I never had to see one of those atrocities ever again in my entire life. What were we thinking back then? What were we thinking, collectively as a unit? Anyways, quite contrary to how emoji clothes make me feel, we summon the Destroyer again when something beautiful happens. Just watch, watch. Crunch. Get crunched, bitch. Get put into the hydraulic press, dick nose. That was mind-bending, and I hope you all enjoyed that as much as I did, because after that, I was able to sleep more than 2 hours at a time for the first time in years. No time for sleep, however, as we have hollowed armor to make and ass to eat. And my brother and Yoba, I already ate all of the ass. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's Certified Assman moment. Certified Assman out. We make our hollowed armor sleep the day away, then immediately charge up to the next mechanical boss on our list, which is the Twins, who unfortunately are not quite as satisfying as defeating the mechanical cocksleeve Destroyer. As a matter of fact, it fucking sucks fighting these chumps with a flail. The range we're able to hit the Twins at is more awkward than the silence between you and your father after he mentions how similar you look to the mailman. Similar to the father in this scenario, we are filled to the brim with immeasurable dread and realization. We are simply doing no damage at all to the Twins, and it is a wacky and strangely paced fight. We first target Spasmatism, then laugh, cheer, stomp, and piss on his grave right in front of Red Nazer, who quite literally can only express pain through an occasional tear if the weather is moist enough, or through shooting laser beams. And as he is a flying abomination built for destruction in the death of mankind, he chooses the laser ass-blasting method of coping, which he sorely pays for, as we chip his health all the way down into nothingness. That was miserable. Thank God we don't have to do that again. Now there is an even bigger fish to fry, a bigger emotional fish, so to speak, as the emotions we feel when we have to summon Skeletron Prime turn entirely into rage and dissent. If I had to describe what I felt knowing that Skeletron Prime is alive and well currently, it would only be described as permanently having thorns in your shoes, and you have to walk to live. I can't even begin to explain the amount of fury I have built up towards this metal exorcist head-spinning, cannon-toting, ball-gripper-wielding piece of shit, as it is impossible. It will take the National fucking Guard, the entirety of the Avengers, and the full might of Comet fucking Taj standing against me to even get me close to stop beating his goddamn metal-ass chrome dome in with rocks and mallets until the red is out of his eyes. Whew. Thank goodness that battle is over with. Now we can finally hang out for a while and AFK to have some light fruits and chlorophytes spawn in. I'm a happy camper, yet simultaneously in great fear of our future emotional devastation by Nebula Pillar. No time to worry about that now, however, because upon entering the jungle we immediately find a bulb into which we think, fuck it, and summon up the leafy MILF Plantera, equipped with only hollowed armor in the Dow of Pao. The first half of this boss fight goes according to plan. We walk in circles around the pool, flexing our muscles while Plantera tries to tan, which immediately brings her into phase 2, wine-drunk mode, which is absolutely petrifying to us, as we had no idea she was capable of this measure of strength and prowess. We are in fear for our lives. Who knew that the slang term cougar could apply so well in this situation? But not in a fun and sexy cougar sense, but rather the, I was out on a hike and a cougar bit off my fucking leg type of sense. Nonetheless, we dodge our dashes and fell swoops as much as humanly possible while the Dow of Pao does our work for us. Thankfully, since she's so gobsmackingly, jaw-droppingly thick, we are able to hit her twice, oftentimes even more on account of one swing of our flail being a tenth of the size of her badonkadonk. We keep on dodging, keep on running for our fucking lives after taking a single hit that takes more than half of our health down, and with a sprinkle of top-shelf cologne, we are able to woo Plantera successfully into giving us her juicy bag of
always from the fucking bag, bro. Holy shit.
I I can only hope so, but I truly don't know. The mystery is what makes it fun. What I do know right now is that there is a small, plentiful pile of mud named Gollum that needs to be kicked hard enough to level a building immediately. With this being said, we begin on our hunt for chlorophyte and life roots in order to upgrade our armor set so we don't die in 2 hits. We have a
Nigga, oh my fucking god, holy shit.
completely mediocre and gray time, finding a completely mediocre and gray amount of life roots. Nonetheless, despite the hunt for life roots going as successfully as Australia's futile attempts at winning a war versus
Fuck this game,
in the
holy
early
fuck.
1930s,